Now.
As always, thank you, Ellen, for the warm-up routine. Time to take on Up North at 4. Let's do this. We're going to start with an Earth Day message. We're going to go to Manitowish Waters, and we're going to learn about that. Welcome back to Up North at 4. I am joined by Kay Kranz from the Manitowish Waters Historical Society. Kay, thanks for joining us on the program.
Thanks, Dan. I'm so excited about Earth Day. You know, my first memory of Earth Day was 1970. I was a senior at UW Stevens Point, and what a great place to have a teach-in about the environment. Such a great school and the natural resources, you know, known across the nation. So I have fond memories of that. So I like to celebrate Earth Day. And you can't talk about Earth Day without mentioning Gaylord Nelson. Now, Gaylord Nelson is an up north guy. He's one of us in the viewing area. He was raised in Clear Lake, Wisconsin, and his parents were very much attuned to the environment, and he grew up wandering through the woods and swimming in the lakes and enjoying a natural environment. He went off to school in California, and then went to law school at Madison and decided that politics and the environment needed somebody, and he began to become very active. So he is known to be a state senator in Wisconsin. He became a governor for 4 years, and then he became a U.S. senator from Wisconsin for 18 years. And all during that time, he fought for the environment and for social justice. One thing he said about Earth Day was, before the first Earth Day, if he tried to pass an environmental bill in Congress, he might get 17 votes. After that first Earth Day, he said, we began the decade of the environmentalism movement, 1970s. So, wow, you know, a great deal. Like, for example, the Environmental Protection Agency was created, the Clean Air Act was passed, the Clean Water Act, all those things. So, wow. But let's go back now and take him into the time when he was governor. In 1968, he created the Youth Conservation, 1961, I'm sorry. He created the Youth Conservation Program through a bill that was called the Outdoor Recreation Action Program. And in that bill that passed as a bipartisan bill, we created the ability to acquire thousands of acres of land in Wisconsin for recreation and for maintaining wilderness areas. So now we've got all this land we're going to be able to acquire, and we've also built a program of a workforce. And how did we pay for it? 1% tax on cigarettes. Wow, pretty cool, huh? So anyways, the act is passed. Well, now we got to create camps. Well, that brings Manitowish Waters into the picture. Manitowish Waters is the site of the first YCC camp, almost in the nation. It's at State House Lake. Well, when the first campers come there in 1962, they got to build housing for themselves. They got to start creating a camp. So it's not like, oh, the camp's ready for everybody's going to come live here. They got to build it. So they build the platforms and the framing for canvas tents. And for several years, that's how they live. And later on, they build their barracks that are still there today. Now, that camp became the model. It was run by a man named Robert Bristmaster, who was a Marine from World War II, and he ran it in a military style. After that camp got on full speed, 3 more camps were created in Wisconsin, one called Ernie Swift, one called Meccan River, and the last one was the Kettle Moraine YCC camp. So what were the goals? Got to set up goals for these boys. The goals are become aware of conservation. What is conservation? Why do we appreciate natural resources? How do we become more self-reliant? How do we become leaders? So then the camp sets off. The assistant director, his name is Thor Sandy. He says these boys come from high schools. They've been nominated by their principals, and they like the idea of the word conservation, but they have no clue what conservation means. And he says, by the time they left my camp in 5 weeks, they knew it took a lot of hard work, sweat, and tears to make this state as beautiful as it is. So the movement took off in Wisconsin, was really successful. Bristmaster told his counselors in the late 60s, you know, people are going to come here and look at our camp on the federal level. They think they want to have a federal program. They want camps all over the country. But what we do here is going to decide whether that legislation passed. So we better be good. Well, I guess we were pretty good because in 1971, Nixon signed into law a federal youth conservation program. So how did the kids get around? They had buses for them, and each cabin or tent was put into a bus and sent off on a work crew that was supervised by their counselors and their DNR professional. Now the DNR in Madison set up what projects were going to be worked on each summer. So the kids worked in the 5 field divisions of the DNR, and those were Parks and Rec, Fire Protection, Fisheries, Game Management, and Forest Management. Awesome jobs. They came back tired, they swam, they played baseball, they played volleyball, they went back the next day and they did it again. And every Friday, professionals from UW or from the DNR would come and teach them the book work about being a conservationist. The boys were not allowed to use power tools. So the only things they could use are sling blades, axes, and fire pumps. So it was pretty tough work. And then I think about it today, I think, you know, if I go off to Crystal Lake Campground and I sit on that beach, or I go to the Firefly Campground and camp for a few nights, or I go out to the Apostle Islands and stay at one of those campsites, or I go to Copper Falls State Park and walk on those paths, I have those kids to thank. And then I want you to know that that camp went on to bring girls. And many professionals have come out of the Youth Conservation Corps program. Many people have given so much to this state and nation because they got inspired as young people to go to camp. And in 1995, the program ended, but the camp is still there. The camp today is called the North Lakeland Discovery Center. And wow, it's so awesome. Kids of all ages, adults of all ages get to come and learn about our environment and learn to be stewards of the earth. And I guess it goes around in a circle, Dan. We've got Gaylord Nelson, we've got Earth Day, we create good things, and we take care.
Thanks so much, Kay, for joining me. I can't think of a better topic on Earth Day than the one you just shared. And I have to say, from my personal experience, I was a YCC crew leader in Montana during 2 summers in between college semesters, and it was an incredible experience, and I can owe that, I think, to the success of the early camps, including the one in Manitowish Waters. So that's very cool.
That's great. Well,
Okay.
You take care, Dan.
Thanks so much, Kay.